My name is Jo. I am the Assistant Dean of Students for Behavioral Education and Intervention in the Office of Dean of Students. The Office of the Dean of Students handles quite a few things. It's kind of like all of your one-stop shop to what you need to know on campus. We also help you navigate the campus policies and procedures because there's a lot of them, right? We also oversee the student code of conduct. We have expectations of behavior on our campus. And we want you to make sure you understand what those are and what it means to do if you violate those. We also oversee child care and family services. So if you have children, you may be able to get services on campus. The union, the beautiful building that has all this fun stuff in it, is also under the Office of the Dean of Students. The Student Life Center. Have any of you guys seen that yet? You have to go. This amazing building, right? It has rock wall. Who would have thought? Go, have fun. We'll talk about being safe and healthy. So if you have any questions at any time, please feel free to talk to us.
And my name is Cassie Keene, and I manage an office on campus called the Center for Student Wellness. And we are primarily concerned with keeping students happy, healthy, and safe on campus, all right? So, like Jo mentioned, we're going to spend the next hour talking about a lot of different things. We're going to talk about kind of your wellness and what that means while you're here, adjusting to campus, right? We're going to throw in, like Jo mentioned, some kind of conduct, okay? So both academic misconduct and, issues around behavioral misconduct, which we talk to all students at all orientations about. So y'all excited to spend the next hour kind of talking about rules and expectations?
Yay!
I know, it sounds like a blast, right? Don't worry, it's going to be. Okay, let's get started. You want to flip that for me? Okay, so, like I said, we're going to talk about wellness. And you might be thinking, why in the world are they talking about wellness and, policies and rules and expectations, right? And that's because the choices that you make while you are here, whether this is in regards to wellness or whether this is around academic or behavioral misconduct issues, the choices you make while you are here for the next 4, 5, 6 years, however long you're at our institution, are really going to guide what your time here looks like, all right? So we want to be able to really have a good conversation with you about this. So, first off with wellness. What do you think I mean? What pops in your head when I say that we want our students to be healthy and we want you to be well?
I can sit in uncomfortable silences for a very long time.
What do you think? Who thinks physical activity? Yeah, you're exercising, right? Who thinks what you're eating? Those are common things. When I say wellness, that's often what students go to, okay? But wellness is really multidimensional. And wellness means different things to different people at different times in your life and to different cultures, okay? But wellness it has so many different pieces. Do you think socially, social wellness can impact you? Do you have the interactions that you want to, right? Are you surrounded by the family or the peers that support you in ways that's going to be positive for you? Absolutely, right? How about financial wellness? Yeah, that's a big one. Absolutely, right? Other components, absolutely physical wellness. Are you sleeping? Are you coping with stress in a healthy way? Are you eating appropriately? Are you getting the kind of physical activity that you need to, okay? Spiritual wellness, intellectual wellness, all of these pieces really kind of come together to make a student's entire purpose. But the only thing that I care about and what wellness means to me is that you all are in a place to be successful. Okay, we find that students that are paying more attention to their wellness, they can achieve the things that they want to, all right? They can meet those goals that they want to achieve, no matter what those goals are, right? You want to find the love of your life while you're here and get married? Great, that's an awesome goal. That sounds perfect. You want to be able to just wake up for your 7 a.m. class? That's also a pretty good goal, I would say. You want to be able to get straight A's or, graduate with honors, whatever it may be, right? So the point is that you have to be able to pay attention to your health and wellness because it can be a game changer, okay? It can really decide whether or not, again, you have that capacity to be successful, okay? And again, that's why we're here, and that's why we're talking to you this morning, because we care about you being successful. So, we also wanted to talk about some of kind of the adjustments and things you may experience while you're here, being in a new place, right? Because oftentimes, there are very real adjustments to things like, you know, food, or our climate, the environment, academic differences, right? Or even just in your feelings. I had a student once, she was from China, and she said, I thought I had tasted ice cream back home until I tasted ice cream in the US. And it was like straight sugar. She was like, whoa. Even something as small as kind of ice cream, right? That she enjoyed and that she really liked was so much different for her here. And so, you know, again, even something kind of small like that was an adjustment, all right? Go ahead and move forward. Okay, so do you think you all may miss home? Yeah, I think that's pretty common, right? For anyone who's away from kind of home or the things that they know for an extended period of time. That's pretty common. So we want you to recognize that this is normal, all right? This is totally fine. And so, you know, do things that kind of help you cope with that in a healthy way. So fix up your living space, wherever that may be, to remind you of home, right? Make sure that you're keeping in touch with your family and your friends and folks that you know you really care about and care about you. Try to get those foods and make those foods that remind you of home, right? Give you that little taste of it. Those kinds of things can be really helpful, all right? What about stress? Have y'all ever experienced stress before? Yeah, again, yeah, right, yes. Everybody has. And do you think stress, magically is just gonna go away now? Probably not, yeah. Stress is a really, really common thing for every single student to experience. And I don't say this to be like, you know, oh, so scary, right? Stress, you're all gonna die. No, not at all, right? I mention these things because, again, I want you to be aware of these, all right? I want you to be thinking and knowing that when you're feeling some of these particular things, when you're feeling especially stressed, that's normal, and there are resources on campus to help you cope with those things, right? To help you deal with those things in a healthy way. Because again, that's what Joe and I are all about today. Kind of talking to you about how you do these things in healthy and kind of well ways. So, the University Counseling Center, which we'll talk more about, but they're across the way over in the Student Services Building. They have excellent staff and professionals there that can talk to you about how to deal with stress or if you're feeling homesick. I work in the Student Life Center that Joe mentioned earlier. It's the gym kind of up on the hill. Exercise is a really great way, as I'll talk about, to kind of get to know people, deal with stress. Okay, so anyone ever heard this term culture shock? So this is simply, right, physical or emotional discomfort when you're adjusting to a new place. This is a very real thing, okay? So much like homesickness, a lot of students will experience this kind of culture shock, right? Because there's so many new things. There's new food, there's new people, there's new climate, there's new environments, there's new academic ways of doing things, okay? And so that can be really often kind of just shocking to your system, all right? So again, the idea with this and why I'm mentioning it is that you have to remember to be patient with yourselves. Be patient with others and know that if you need support in this, we want to help you, all right? So come talk to us, talk to other folks that are in the same situation. Just find out, hey, how are you dealing with this, right? This has been really difficult for me. What has worked for you? Right? Okay. And I'm going to say this multiple times, but get involved. This is not the first time I'll say this. Getting involved, meeting new people, being a part of social situations or groups or things that are going to give you positive support systems. Again, it can really change your experience here. Okay? So I'm gonna repeat that a lot. All right. So when I say that culture shock that can sometimes manifest itself in these like physical or emotional ways of kind of impacting you, this is what I mean, right? So sometimes folks that are experiencing, kind of this shock from being in a totally new environment, you may not recognize it as, oh, hey, I'm in culture shock right now, right? But what might happen is you might start to feel a little bit differently in different ways, all right? So you might say, you know, I'm feeling really angry all the time, right? Or I'm not sleeping well, and I usually sleep great. Or I'm sleeping way too much. I'm sleeping 12 hours a day, and that's not normal for me, right? You might start to see that you're really kind of isolating yourself, right? Or maybe you're afraid more often. Maybe you withdraw. Maybe you have things like stomach aches or headaches way more often that you just can't explain, right? These can be things that this is a way that your body, right, and your mind can kind of tell you, like, you're adjusting, right, and you need support in this. So the big thing is you have to take care of yourself. That's huge, all right? So again, I mentioned things like, you know, fruits and vegetables and exercise. Eat in a healthy way that's going to support your mind and body, all right? Exercise. Get up to the Student Life Center. We have, you know, there's swimming up there, there's a rock wall, there's cardio machines that you can run on, there's weightlifting stuff, so there's a myriad of things to help you be physically active. You know, there's classes you can take, like yoga and things. So be physically active. Eat the things that are going to fuel your body. And even small things like getting out in the sun, right? It sounds kind of strange. You're like, why is this woman telling a group of adults to go out in the sun? But even small things like that can really help your body adjust to, you know, maybe a different climate, to a new time zone. So these things are going to be important in your first little bit while you're here. Get these routines down so that when you're really busy starting next week, right, with classes, that you already have this stuff established, right? And then the last thing in taking care, oh, sorry, go ahead. Again, get involved, right? Seriously, I cannot say this enough, but y'all gotta get involved. Meet new people, right? Be part of social scenes. Do things that you are going to enjoy. And that's gonna be a little different for everyone, right? Maybe for some people, that's some of the big kind of social events we throw on campus, like Crimson Nights, right? A chance to kind of be in more of a social kind of party situation. For others, that might be a group that you really kind of mesh with, right? The fencing club or something. Okay? And then last is advocate for yourself. So does anybody have an idea of what I mean when I say that I want you to advocate for yourself? No ideas? So when I say I want you to advocate for yourself, what I mean is that we have an expectation here that if you need support, if you need assistance, you're going to ask for it. You're going to come to us, right? You're going to talk to me. You're going to talk to Joe. You're going to talk to the folks that you've met in ISSS, right? You're going to talk to faculty members or staff. You're going to ask for help when you need it, because that's all right? And again, we have that expectation that students are doing that. It's really important. We can't always tell what's going on with you or if something is wrong. And so we really rely on students to kind of be that voice where you are empowered to kind of ask for what you need, okay? And maybe that's academically, you're not understanding something in class, so you're talking to a faculty member, or if that's something socially that you need support with, right? That you're talking to folks like Joe and I to get you hooked up with folks that can really support you, all right? So advocate for yourself. It's an important concept. Go ahead.
So, rights and responsibilities. We told you to give you a little bit of a concept of what that is here. It goes back to our expectations. As students here at the U, we have some expectations of how we would like you to make choices, make decisions, how to become engaged and involved and be healthy, well, and safe on campus. Your student code of rights is kind of like your contract with the university saying, I'm going to follow these rules, okay? Pretty easy. I will say that there's a learning curve. We know that you're in a new place, new students who are here at college for the first time, maybe returning, it's a new environment. Sometimes the decision-making skills, they get a little wonky, all right? That's okay. This is an educational process. We want to help you. If you find yourself making some pretty bad decisions that are impacting your academics, come see us. Come to have some real conversation with us, and we can help you through that. Sometimes conversations that I have with students end in my favorite saying, "You really thought that was a good idea. Let's rethink that, and how could we redo that?" Because that's what I want you to learn, is learn how to make better choices. So we have standards and processes, of course, for behavioral conduct. That is the realm of our expectations that the Office of the Dean of Students handles. We have expectations of professional conduct. Those are handled mostly by your departments in those areas like nursing, engineering, social work, business. They may also have some ethical standards that they have to consider, fit to practice, things like that. Those will need to be, you'll need to discuss out with your faculty department, your chairs, your advisors, your deans, because they have specifics about professional performance that they expect from you. Academic performance, things like your grades, keys, plagiarism, things that go against what we expect you to perform academically. As you're transitioning, you may find problems in these areas, and that's okay. We're here to help direct you to resources that will help you be successful. And then again, academic conduct, again, things like plagiarism, copying, not doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing in class. We'll get a little bit more into that, but that is also handled by your department. So what is academic misconduct? You can cheat. This will be the only time I can tell you so you can cheat. It's copying somebody else's work, right? Not using your work as your own. Plagiarism is a big one. Out of those two, which do you think is the biggest? Plagiarism. Most often, it's because students don't understand that they can plagiarize themselves. You cannot use the same paper for class to class to class, term to term to term. You have to ask your faculty about that, okay? So when you're working within this academic realm, make sure you're having conversations with your faculty, with your advisors, so you're not violating any of these. These things can result in things like failing the class, failing the entire course, the assignment, and even expulsion and dismissal from the school, okay? So they can be pretty serious. It's not a case-by-case basis. Be aware of what your expectations or our expectations of you are. Here's some more examples of academic misconduct. We spend some time on this because these are things that we commonly are consulting with faculty about, okay? We just want you to be aware. If you have any questions over any of these things that we're talking about, please talk to us. We can help you. We can also help you navigate through the policy or the process as you're having a discussion with your faculty member or your advisor about if something like this was to occur. You do have rights if something like this happens and you feel that it's not exactly went down the way it was supposed to go down. Behavioral misconduct. This is our area, the Office of the Dean of Students. So these are our expectations of you. We want you to be honest. We don't want you to disrupt the campus community. We have a no alcohol and drug policy on campus. Okay, Cassie will get into that a little bit more. We have a no weapons policy. We have an expectation of non-violence. We have an expectation to adhere with other university policies. That includes trespassing on unauthorized buildings. Some of these buildings have amazing views from the rooftops. Guess what? You can't take someone up there and show them what the beautiful view is. Think about what you're doing and make a good choice, okay? You can end up in my office. I wouldn't say we're scary people. I don't think I'm scary at all, but I do want to help you learn from this experience, right? If you think it's a bad decision, most likely it is. Don't do it, or come talk to me about it before you make that decision.
All right, so how many folks are living on campus?
Oh, more than one.
Okay, a few, great. So whenever you are living on campus, or if really you're just simply being on campus, which every single one of you are, right? So, first of all, there are a lot of great opportunities, okay, again, to just get to know folks, to be in different social settings, join clubs and things, but there are also rules that kind of govern this, right? One of which Joe mentioned, no alcohol is allowed on campus. And again, you might be like, why are these women talking to a bunch of grown adults about drinking? And it's because we have to. Students, we often have students who violate this rule, okay? So we want to make sure that everybody knows what it is. So you may hear the University of Utah referred to as a dry campus, okay? That simply means alcohol is not allowed, right? And why is that? It's not because we want to be parental. It's not because we're making judgments on alcohol, okay? If you're 21 and you're off campus and you're drinking in a low-risk way, Joe, do you care about that? No. Yeah, I don't care about that. So be aware, right, that anywhere on campus, up in the residence halls, alcohol is not allowed. In any of kind of the sporting venues, right? If any of you are interested in going to football games or basketball games or gymnastics or any of the other sporting events we have, alcohol is also not allowed in any of those venues. Okay, Rice-Eccles Stadium counts. Sometimes folks will argue about that, but no, alcohol's not allowed there. So just be careful about that, okay? Additionally, we also like to mention that smoking, you have to be at least 25 feet away from doors, windows, that kind of stuff, if you're a smoker, okay? And so Joe, tell us a little bit about if folks violate this.
So what happens if we catch you with alcohol? Well, there's a couple of scenarios, right? I said before, kind of depends on what happens when you're cited. You could be cited by one of our wonderful, lovely officers. There's 37 of them. You will most likely be referred to our office. We will go through the sanctioning process with you to have a good conversation about why we chose to drink during this time, why we thought it was a good idea to get as drunk as possible before we went to the football game. Still not a good idea. And then you might end up spending 6 hours with Cassie or one of her other colleagues, and have to pay $75 for it. So, but this is like a good time, right? Amazing people who learn quite a bit about alcohol, but it's not exactly all that fun. So, we also talk about other violations like trespassing, brandishing guns on campus, having weapons on campus that are not allowed. Unauthorized access tends to be something that happens once before we tell you you're not allowed to do it. You pretty much start to respect that. But again, it's about making healthy choices. We are not a court of law. You're not going to end up in jail unless you've done something that the law enforcement says is not a good idea. Hey, we do not put you in jail. Law enforcement does. And whatever action or violation occurs, it's on a case-by-case basis, it will be determined between you and your conduct officer what is a good sanctioning process, right? And again, those things could be like spending time with Cassie, community service, meeting with mentors across campus. It can also be suspension, expulsion, and dismissal from school. Not a good time, right? We don't want to hit you there. We want you to succeed. That is our goal. So if you can work with us, we're going to work with you, and we're going to help you get through whatever happens to get you in our office.
Yeah, it really is educational in nature, most of these violations, right? And again, I mean, one of the reasons that we hit on this stuff so much and we keep talking about it is we really have this expectation that you all are joining a new community, all right? And you know what it's like to be a part of a community that you really care about, okay? You're a part of a new community, and we expect that you all are going to care for one another, and you're going to look out for one another, and we're going to help keep each other safe, okay? So that means in any of these different instances, if we're talking about alcohol and someone's had too much to drink, right, you're looking out for them. If we're talking about, potentially harm, self-harm or harm to others, then you're looking out, right, for your friends, for your peers, for your classmates, for your community, okay? And we're going to talk a little bit more. Oh, sorry, go forward.
I want to remind you guys what they did not say. If you're found having violated the student code of conduct expectation, it does go on your academic record. So that means if you're applying to graduate school or you're trying to get a high security clearance position, they come looking for that information from us, okay? It can follow you, so just be careful and make good choices. We don't want you to not be able to do what you feel is the best job of your life, right?
And so that's again where this piece of really looking out for one another is helpful. Okay, let's help each other avoid some of these things sometimes. So the last thing I wanted to mention is we also have an expectation that we are looking out for one another when it comes to sexual violence or relationship violence, and we're going to talk more about kind of what that means. But we want to keep our campus safe and our community safe, and for you all to be successful. Okay.
So sexual misconduct. Sexual misconduct is unwelcome or unwanted conduct of a sexual nature. These things could include things like sexual joking, pressure to date or engage in sexual activity or contact, deliberate touching, unwanted or forcible fondling, cornering attempts to kiss individuals, a request for sexual favors in exchange for something. These are very serious expectations that we have that our students will not engage in these practices, these activities, and we will help one another if they are found in these situations, so we can get them the help and connections that they want. Some examples that you might want to know about, things like leering and oogling. When it becomes unwelcome and unwanted, an individual who you kind of give the eye to will probably say something like, I'm not really that interested. I'm going to take that as, let's not keep staring at that person, right? Things like making sexual remarks about clothing, like, I really like that shirt. It makes a lot of sense why you would wear it. That could make somebody uncomfortable, right? We don't want to hear things like that. Touching. I love this picture because it kind of creeps me out at the same time. I think it gives a good understanding of what we mean about that. That touch that's just not quite very warm and fuzzy, right? I don't think that woman feels very nice in that hug from this individual, right? Things like that, you have the right to not experience that. And we're going to help you understand what that means and what your rights are that surround that. You also have the right to be free in an environment free of sexual jokes, sexual innuendos, pornographic pictures. If you have somebody who's constantly putting that stuff up on their computer, you're walking by and seeing it, you have a right to not have to see that or be exposed to it. Text messaging, emails that are constantly coming at you from an individual, asking you out, talking about sexual encounters. Again, these are things that if they start to make you feel uncomfortable, they're unwanted and unwelcome, you do not have to experience those. So Title IX of sexual misconduct is overseen by the Office of Equal Opportunity and Affirmative Action. We fondly refer to them as the OEO, because it's a really long title. And we have a Title IX coordinator. Her name is Sherry Hashi. She oversees all of the sexual misconduct and violence that happens on campus. We have been regulated by the federal government to make sure that we keep our campuses health and safety. And part of that is making sure we have an office on campus to report things like that occur. So we can make sure that a proper investigation is done, so the students who have experienced this can be safe, happy, and healthy. Some of the protected categories that the OEO works with are things like race and ethnicity, national origin, color, sex, religion, age, disability, veteran status, gender identity and expression, genetic information, and sexual orientation. So if you at any time feel that you have been discriminated against or harassed because of these, you can contact the OEO. They can help you go through a process.
So we often, with all orientations, take a lot of time to kind of really talk about sexual misconduct and sexual violence and relationship violence, right? Because it's a concept that we take really seriously, and we want to keep our students safe on campus. And so one of the ways that we like to talk about, kind of sex and sexual activity and romantic relationships, and how we avoid, right, some of these things that Joe is talking about, is with the topic of consent, right? Have y'all ever heard consent before? It's a pretty big buzzword on college campuses, okay? You're going to hear this reference a lot. And consent is simply, right, you can't have sex with someone if they don't want to have sex. It's pretty much that simple. But consent is more than that, okay? Consent isn't just an absence of no. If someone doesn't say anything, does that mean that they want to have sex? I don't know. That's the problem, right? Maybe they do. I don't know. So consent is the way that you really kind of clear this up to make sure that any kind of, again, kind of intimate relationship that you're going to enter in, that the parties involved want to do that, okay? So we like to say consent is an enthusiastic yes, right? It's like a, heck yeah, that sounds amazing. I totally want to do that. Okay, that's what consent is. And really importantly, consent is that enthusiastic yes when the option of no is there, okay? So what do I mean by that? Can someone consent if they are asleep? Can someone consent to, yeah, no. If someone's asleep, they can't consent to sex, right? If someone has had way too much to drink and they're passed out, can they consent to sex? No, right? And also particulars matter, right? Place, the time, the person. A couple could have sex every single Saturday at noon. And maybe one Saturday comes along and one of the partners don't want to have sex, right? Like, is that okay? Yes, absolutely, okay? So those particulars matter. Consent also has to be freely given. So it has to be free from coercion, right? It has to be free from someone trying to manipulate someone into having sex or forcing them into having sex, okay? So I want to kind of illustrate what this looks like. Joe, can you help me out?
Of course.
Okay, Joe, is this your pen?
It is.
Okay, can I borrow your pen?
You may borrow my pen.
Perfect, thanks. So, do you think that I had verbal consent to borrow Joe's pen? Did she verbally say it was okay for me to borrow her pen? Yeah, okay, and verbal consent is good, right? Verbal consent is the best kind of consent. That's when consent is really, really clear. And I know for sure, I feel like it was okay for me to borrow Joe's pen, right? Yeah. Did Joe non-verbally consent to let me borrow her pen? Yeah, I'd say she also non-verbally consented, right? She was both. So she was like, here, yeah, go ahead, borrow my pen anytime. And she handed me her pen while she said it was okay, right? Non-verbal consent's a little bit trickier, okay? Because it's not quite as clear. So that's why the standard with consent is always that verbal enthusiastic yes, okay? So this time, I'm gonna ask to borrow Joe's pen. And Joe, you don't want to lend me your pen, okay? I'm gonna ask a couple different ways. I'm gonna be pretty forceful, but you don't want to borrow it, okay? Okay, so Joe, can I borrow your pen?
No.
Okay, why are you being so weird? I just borrowed it. Give me your pen.
I'm not comfortable with that.
All right. Okay, this is super weird, Joe. I'm just confused because again, I just borrowed it, and I mean, she's borrowed your pen, and he's borrowed your pen back there, and basically that whole table has borrowed your pen. You give your pen to everyone, so give me your pen.
No.
Joe! Joe, you're killing me. Okay. All right. I don't know if you know this, or if you don't know this, okay? But I'm actually a pretty important person on campus. I would say I'm like a VIP. So really, I'd be doing you a favor, Joe. Let me borrow your pen, please.
No.
Please?
No.
Please?
No.
Please?
No.
Please?
No.
Please? Okay. I'm having kind of a bad morning, and I feel a lot better if you let me borrow your pen. In fact, I may hurt myself if you don't.
No. I'll take you somewhere to make sure you're okay.
What a great response. Okay, Joe, do you have any, animals or siblings or anything?
I do.
You
I
do?
have
A pet? What kind of pet?
I have a little miniature schnauzer. Her name is Belle.
A little puppy. Belle?
Belle.
Belle. Okay. All right, Belle. Well, what if something really bad is going to happen to Belle, unless you let me borrow your pen? Thanks, Joe. Okay, I got Joe's pen. Did I have consent to get Joe's pen? No, I didn't, right? That was not a freely given yes. Joe was making a decision between whether or not it was going to be worse to suffer the consequences or to let me borrow her pen, right? That's not consent. And you'll see, I know we kind of do this in a jokey way, right? But it's so that we get your attention on this because it's such an important concept for us. You'll see, right, that I use a series of kind of coercive, manipulative tactics, right? I asked over and over, I tried to wear down her defenses. Please, 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 Joe, let me borrow your pen, right? I tried to use my influence, my power over her. I'm a really important person, so you need to do this favor for me, right? I tried to, I tried to shame her, right? Everybody borrows your pen, Joe. You're a pen slut, right? Those things aren't okay. I tried threats of violence against myself, and ultimately threats of violence against her, right? This is what I mean when I say consent has to be freely given, okay? Would a yes under any of those conditions have been consent? No, right? If Joe had said yes at any point, none of those would have been a freely given yes, all right? So this is why this is so important, because this is the standard we have here on this campus. That again, any type of relationship you are engaging in, it is consensual. And whatever parties may be involved, right? And we recognize there are a lot of different relationships. Some of you are married. Some of you may be in long-term relationships. Some of you, may just meet a really cute person at a party. Consent and consensual, sex and relationships and intimate relationships are the standard that we want you all to be promoting and practicing. And again, students often are like, this is really hard, right? This is awkward. Well, we say embrace the awkward, okay? Because this is something that you have to do. And consent in sexual relationships can be something, it can be phrases as easy as, hey, do you like when I, right? It can be, hey, I really enjoy this, or let's try this, right? Those kinds of things are only going to add to, hopefully, the awesomeness of intimate relationships, everybody, okay? So, consent, that enthusiastic yes. Sound good? Yes. For folks that have experienced any kind of interpersonal violence on campus, okay? So like Joe and I were talking about, right? Anything that falls under that umbrella of sexual misconduct. Folks who, are stared at in that weird way that Joe was talking about, okay? Folks who may experience rape, sexual assault, attempted sexual assault, stalking, okay? Dating violence, domestic violence, all of these different things. There are resources and support on campus for students who have experienced this, all right? One of those resources is our victim advocates. So these two wonderful women up top. So Jody's at the very top, Dara's in the bottom corner. They are victim advocates on campus that are confidential and free services. So a student can go into them, again, completely free. They are not obligated to tell anybody on campus. And they will give the survivor, the student, right, a buffet, a whole list of options of what their choices are, okay? Sometimes that can be just sitting with the advocates and talking about the experience. Maybe they just need to sit and talk to someone who's going to believe them and support them, okay? They'll do that. If someone wants to get hooked up with, counseling services because of their experience, they can facilitate that. Okay? If someone wants to look at, hey, I want to report this to the police, right? Or I want to report this to the Dean of Students' office, to Joe's office, to the police on campus, they can help do that, all right? They can do academic adjustments. So maybe, the person who kind of violated the student's rights is in a class with them, and they want to get out of that class with that person. Or maybe they're finding that they are, having a really hard time getting through finals because they've experienced something like this. These women can help kind of facilitate those adjustments so that, again, students are successful and can finish to graduation and beyond, all right? So they are fantastic resources. Go ahead. Okay.
So we're going to talk a little about the difference between confidentiality and privacy. So Cassie gave you a rundown on a couple of our confidential reporters, Jody and Dara. There are a few other offices on campus that are also considered confidential reporters. These are individuals who cannot tell anybody anything about what you disclose to them unless you give them permission to do so. Okay, and it has to be written permission. And those are going to be individuals in the University Counseling Center, the Women's Resource Center, the victim advocates, individuals in Cassie's office, and we do have a university pastor and chaplain up at the hospital who can also keep that in confidence. Then there are our private reporters. I am considered a private reporter, okay? I do have to report to one individual on campus. That individual is a Title IX coordinator, Sherry Hayashi. Okay, you guys should picture her a little earlier, and that's it, right? What we try to do is form a bubble of privacy around your experience, because we are required to make sure that the campus stays healthy and safe. And part of that requirement is making sure we understand patterns and things that are going on with sexual violence. And if we can continue to find those patterns, we can continue to kind of be proactive about preventing some of those things to occur. Educating our campus, letting them know that these are not acceptable behaviors, and that we have an expectation of how we want our students to feel on campus. Other private communicators are going to be faculty and staff that you run into, right? Your ISSS counselors, your advisors, deans, faculty members, they are private reporters. Again, they only have to tell one individual on campus, and that is Sherry, all right? From there may be some other individuals, like my office will often get notified. Me, myself, I'm a Title IX Deputy Coordinator, so is Katie Carty in my office, and so is our Dean of Students Coordinator, who's actually Senior Title IX Deputy Coordinator. One of us may be involved in that, because we also can help you move classes, help you get in different testing situations if it's in a final or testing thing. If we need to work with you on withdrawing from the class, or working on late withdrawals, retroactive withdrawals, working on anything to make sure that you are healthy as you go through this process, so you can come back and succeed, and that's what we think we need to do, okay? We only help you do what you ask us to help you do. Comes back to that advocacy. We are the guides through the process. We're going to support you through the process the entire time, all right? We won't leave you anywhere you don't want to be. A second thing I want you guys to think about, can men be sexually assaulted? Yes, they can, all right? And so think about that. As we're caring about our community and we're looking at these things, remember, you see something, say something. Talk to someone. Talk to an individual who may be having some struggles, who you may see isn't exactly the way they were when you first met them. Talk to them, find out what's going on. And if it's something that Cassie and I can help you with, connect with us. If it's something that we can help you with, connect with us, because that is what we care about. We care about you, we care about your health, we care about your wellness, and we want you to be successful. We are very excited you're here, but we get even more excited when we see you cross that stage and you graduate.
Yeah. Okay, so we want to extend, right, again, an invitation and kind of expectation for you all to continue this conversation, all right? So Haven is your chance to do that. Haven is an online module that you all will receive an email for in the first probably month of school. And it's going to give you directions on how to go in and complete this online. So this is going to be your opportunity, again, right, to learn a little bit more kind of about the university's policies, different definitions we have around sexual misconduct, to learn more about consent, ways to get consent, and to learn about bystander intervention too, all right? So a chance for, people on the outside of the situation, what are tactics that we can use to kind of step into something that we see that may be problematic sometimes, to kind of de-escalate that and stop harm from happening in our community, all right? So when you see this email in this first month, again, we have an expectation that you all will complete this. It doesn't take a long time. It takes under an hour, and all students need to do this, all right? No, you want to go?
So, where's some of the places you can get help on campus? All right. 911 emergency that does work from your cell phone on campus. It connects you to our campus dispatch center. So if you dial 911 from your cell phone anywhere on campus, you're going to get a hold of our University Police Department. Okay?
And that's only for like life-threatening emergencies, though, right? 911 is like there's a fire going on, right? Or there's violence happening. It's not like I have a sore throat, okay, or I have the flu. It's life-threatening kind of emergencies, all right?
Another number you can contact, there's a non-emergency number, is 801-585-COPS or 2677. We often joke that if you're calling them from a campus phone and you dial 5 cops will not show up, so don't be worried about that. There will only be one, maybe two, depending on what's going on, and they'll come by and talk to you to make sure that everything is okay. Some of the things that they help you with are going to be things like vehicle lockouts, battery jump. How many of you guys are going to be commuting on campus or driving to and from campus? Okay, well, I will admit it, I lock my keys out all the time. They help me a lot. I need to figure out some better resource about that. They have campus security escorts. So that anytime you're feeling unsafe as you're traveling to and from places on campus, whether it be the library to a class, from class to your car, from the union to say maybe the residence hall, you can contact this number and they will send an escort to help you get there safely. Okay? Remember, Cassie and I have said these words many times, and these are things we want you to remember. Be happy, be healthy, be safe. Okay? They also do have victim advocacy. They are the only department that is 24/7 on campus. All right? So if something happens after 5 and you need to get a hold of Cassie's crew, my crew, or somewhere else, they're the ones to call because they have our numbers and they get a hold of us. Okay?
All right, so we don't often ask to take out your cell phones, but this would be a really good time to take out your cell phones and take some pictures of resources, okay? These are some key offices on campus, right? So not only is it going to give you that police number on campus, but the office below that, the Office of Equal Opportunity. So again, that's the office that Joe talked about, right? If students are experiencing any kind of discrimination, sexual misconduct, and you need help with that and support, you want to report that, you want the university to investigate that, that's the OEO's number. Below that, the University Counseling Center. Seriously, I cannot plug the University Counseling Center enough. Again, they're across the way in the Student Services Building. They are an amazing resource that you already paid for. Your tuition part of your tuition, right, goes to offices like this. So if you find that you are needing to talk to a counselor, a therapist, right, you're just feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling stressed, you're feeling anxious, you're feeling depressed, right, these really common things that we see students go through, we want you to visit the University Counseling Center. The number below that, the Student Health Center, that's really helpful as well, right? That's the medical center on campus. So if you have, a sore throat, if you want to get just a general checkup for the year, if you have questions about immunizations, right, about how to get health insurance, the Student Health Center is an office that you can call and go to. Okay. Additionally, the rest of the offices are great support resources in this building: Women's Resource Center, LGBT Resource Center, the Center for Ethnic Student Affairs. And then the Rape Recovery Center is an off-campus resource, but we include it because it's a really great community agency that can work with, again, students who have experienced any kind of sexual violence or relationship violence, okay? So know those resources. Again, seriously, y'all pay for these, so you need to utilize your resources, okay? And the take-home message, this is a transition, right? And with all transitions, I think that this will be an exciting time and will be a challenging time, all right? So again, just be aware of that. Be aware of your wellness. Be aware of the decisions that you're making, right? Like I said earlier, advocate for yourself. We have this expectation that you're going to ask for assistance if you need support, okay? You're going to ask for help if you need support. That's a good thing. We really like when students do that, all right? So be aware, again, and recognize that we want that to be happening. Again, be aware of your resources. Make these choices that are going to make you, again, happy, healthy, and successful, okay? And this is our, oh, no, contact. This is our contact if you have any questions. But everybody, welcome to the U. We're super excited for y'all to be here. So, welcome and make your choices.
Have a happy, wonderful, safe, and healthy semester.
Yeah.